Race number 13 of the NASCAR Cup Series season is complete, and it was done with heavy hearts. This weekend, Kyle Busch was supposed to run two races, the Coca Cola 600 and the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. Unfortunately, on Thursday, he was hospitalized with a severe illness. It was announced that Kyle will not be competing this weekend, and Austin Hill will fill in for him in the Cup Series. Sadly, later that day, Kyle Busch passed away at the age of 41. Kyle Busch was one of the best in the business, a hell of a wheelman, first ballot Hall of Famer, and he'll be truly missed. This weekend, we have four series competing. On Friday, we have the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. On Saturday, we have the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, the Char-Broil 300. Then on Sunday, we have another crown jewel race, the Coca Cola 600. In addition, the ARCA Menard Series West heads to Colorado National Speedway for the running of the legendary Billy Green 150. The weekend gets started with the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. A couple things before we get started. Corey Day will fill in for Kyle Busch in the number 7 truck for Spire Motorsports. Travis Pastrana will be driving the number 25 Colleague Racing All-Star truck. And we'll have 4 bushwhackers in the field. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the number 4 truck, Ross Chastain in the 45 truck, Shane Van Gisbergen in the 71, and Connor Zillage in the 77. Spire Motorsports will honor Kyle Busch by carrying Kyle Busch Motorsports stickers on their trucks for the weekend. Unfortunately for NASCAR, practice and qualifying got rained out, making Corey Day your pole sitter. Why is that an issue? Well, that rain continued into the afternoon, making NASCAR push the Truck Series race up an hour to try to get the race in. Unfortunately, during pace laps, it was raining pretty strong. This forced NASCAR to postpone the race to Saturday at 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, unfortunately, the next day came, and it was still raining, meaning that they had to postpone the race again to after the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race that night. Next up is the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, the Char-Broil 300. A couple things before we get started. That rain in the morning that pushed back the Truck Series race from this morning to tonight has also washed out practice and qualifying. As a result of this, Justin Allgaier is your pole sitter. We have 3 bushwhackers in the field tonight, Cole Custer in the 0 car, Connor Zillage in the 1 car, and Ross Chastain in the 9 car. Wait, where's Carson Kvapil then? Carson will be making his 3rd start of the year in the number 91 car for DGM Racing. JJ Yaley will be driving the only Ford in the race tonight, the number 38 car. As it turns out, the reason why Ryan Sieg Racing has that car is because it was a leftover from when they were a Ford team, meaning that for the foreseeable future, anyone who wants to run a Ford Mustang in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series will not have factory support. That sucks. We're also going to have a competition caution on lap 25. When the race begins, Justin Allgaier is your leader. Sam Mayer starts hounding him for the lead. Unfortunately, we have our first caution on lap 2, when Jesse Love spins out Harrison Burton in turn 3. What should have been a quickie yellow gets extended because the rain came out. Great. Unfortunately, this ends up being a theme for this race, but we'll talk about that later. The green flag comes back out on lap 12. Sam Mayer takes the lead from Justin Allgaier on lap 14. One thing that you'll notice is everyone is slipping and sliding all over the track. Not because it's wet, but because everyone is in a hurry. They know the rain is coming, and it's very likely it'll cancel the event or postpone it. So they want to be in a good position if or when that happens. The competition caution comes out on lap 26, and unfortunately when it does, the rain comes back. And it comes back with a vengeance. Drenches the whole track. It's not pretty. The red flag is displayed, NASCAR has the drivers get out of their cars, and now we just wait for the rain to pass. Next up is the legendary Billy Green 150 at Colorado National Speedway, the ARCA Menard Series West. A couple things before we get started. This is race number 5 of 13 for the ARCA West Series. Robbie Keneally is your pole sitter. Haley Deegan has your best start of the year in third place. At the start of the race, Robbie Keneally is your leader. He'll go on to lead the next 20 laps before losing the lead to Trevor Huddleston. Haley Deegan holds on to third from a hard-charging Kyle Keller. Mia Lovell, who had a poor qualifying effort starting 15th, has worked her way up to 8th place by lap 30. Our first caution comes out on lap 50 when Andrew Chapman spins out Scotty Millen. When the race resumes, the top three are still the same. Trevor Huddleston in first, Robbie Keneally in second, Haley Deegan in third place. Cole Denton starts feeling the pressure from Mason Massey for the 5th place spot. He is saved on lap 75 by the halftime break. When the race resumes, Robbie Keneally makes a valiant effort to try to get the lead back from Trevor Huddleston. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough as Trevor begins to ride off into the sunset. Haley Deegan will lose third place to Kyle Keller and continues to fall back. Towards the end of the race, Eric Johnson Jr. has a fender hang off his car and it's causing him to slow down. He'll eventually lose a couple laps as a result. In addition, Cade Fox in the 66 car, a local driver to Colorado Speedway, starts charging towards the front towards the end of the race. Trevor Huddleston will go on to win the race. Robbie Keneally finishes second. Cade Fox finishes third. Mason Massey finishes fourth. And Kyle Keller finishes fifth. Here are your point standings after race 5 of the ARCA Menard Series West schedule. Once again, much like the ARCA series, I'm not going to go over every driver on this list, mostly because some of them were only in the Phoenix race, which was a combination race with the ARCA series. 2, not everyone on this list is a full-time driver. Your points leader is Trevor Huddleston. Second in points is Mason Massey. Third in points is Haley Deegan. Fourth in points is Eric Johnson Jr. Fifth in points is Cole Denton. Sixth in points is Robbie Keneally. Seventh in points is Andrew Chapman. Eighth in points is Gavin Ray. Ninth in points is Mia Lovell. 10th in points is David Smith. And our final full-timer, Julian DaCosta, sits 11th in points. Heading back to Charlotte for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race, here's a couple updates. The track was clear and ready to go by 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which was the same time as the ARCA Menard Series West race. So if you wanted to watch both of these races live, you better have a second monitor. The race resumes with 9 laps to go in Stage 1. Justin Allgaier is your leader, with Connor Zilic in second place. Connor Zilic will take the lead from Justin Allgaier after he gets squirrely in the turns. Connor Zilic will go on to win Stage 1. Under the caution period, everybody pits except for Blaine Perkins. On the restart, Justin Allgaier will take the lead back from Blaine Perkins. Then the caution comes out, after Sheldon Creed causes a major pileup after he makes contact with Brandon Jones. Brandon will collect Brent Cruz and Harrison Burton. Oof. Under the caution, the fog starts rolling in. Thankfully, it's not thick enough to be a safety hazard, but it's just another omen for how bad the weather's been to NASCAR this weekend. On the ensuing restart, Justin Allgaier gets squirrely and loses the lead to Ross Chastain. Austin Hill is right on his tail. The next caution comes out on lap 61 when Sam Mayer blows a tire and hits the wall. When the race resumes, Jesse Love is your leader, with Ross Chastain in second place. Ross will try with all his might to steal the lead from Jesse Love, and he eventually does. Unfortunately, after he does this, Dawson Cram's engine blows up, leaving oil all over the racetrack. The caution gets thrown, and unfortunately, when that happens, the rain comes back. Now, you would think NASCAR would, bring the cars on the pit road, stop the race, get the track clear, but no. They have the cars keep running around the track, and they don't stop. They have them do this for the next 15 to 20 laps. It doesn't take long to realize what NASCAR is doing. The race will be declared official if the race reaches the end of Stage 2 or the halfway point of the race, which I don't agree with it, but, whatever. Eventually, Ross Chastain wins Stage 2 under caution. After Stage 2 is complete, NASCAR brings the cars on the pit road, and yeah, you can guess what happens next. Ross Chastain is declared the winner. Now, to be fair to NASCAR, I understand why they called this race. Rain was already here. It wasn't going to let up anytime soon. A lot of these crew guys have been here since 5 o'clock this morning. It's been a long day. I get all that, right? However, as a race fan, I'm someone crazy enough who would gladly wait out the rain for the race to continue on, right? So, yeah, I'm being selfish. I say they could have finished this race and waited out the rain. But I understand realistically, that's not an option. And that's without mentioning that they were supposed to run the Truck Series race after the O'Reilly race. Yeah, that got rescheduled again. This time it's going to be on Sunday at 10 o'clock in the morning, which in and of itself is strange because they had no problem running it on Saturday morning at 7 o'clock. So why the time jump? I don't know. What I do know is that puts it dangerously close to interfering with the Indy 500, TV-wise at least, and it also verges very close on the setup for the Coke 600 Cup race Sunday afternoon. So I hope NASCAR made the right call moving the Truck Series race to Sunday. Here's your point standings after race 15 of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series season. Your points leader is still Justin Allgaier. Second in points is Jesse Love. Third in points is Corey Day. Fourth in points is Sheldon Creed. Fifth in points is Brandon Jones. Sixth in points is Austin Hill. Seventh in points is Sammy Smith. Eighth in points is Carson Quapple. Ninth in points is Parker Retzlaff. And 10th in points is William Sawalich. 11th in points is Sam Mayer. 12th in points is Taylor Gray. 13th in points is Rajah Caruth. 14th in points is Ryan Sieg. 15th in points is Brent Cruz. 16th in points is Brennan Poole. 17th in points is Anthony Alfredo. 18th in points is Dean Thompson. 19th in points is Jeremy Clements. And 20th in points is Jeb Burton. 21st in points is Blaine Perkins. 22nd in points is Harrison Burton. 23rd in points is Patrick Starpoli. 24th in points is Austin Green. 25th in points is LeVar Scott. 26th in points is Josh Bilicki. 27th in points is Kyle Sieg. 28th in points is Ryan Ellis. 29th in points is Josh Williams. 30th in points is Joey Gase. 31st in points is Garrett Smithley. 32nd in points is Nick Sanchez. 33rd in points is JJ Yaley. 34th in points is Alex LeBay. 35th in points is Nathan Bird. 36th in points is Mason Maggio. 37th in points is Andrew Patterson. 38th in points is Myatt Snyder. 39th in points is Jordan Anderson. And 40th in points is Lee Pullman. 41st in points is Luke Finhaus. 42nd in points is David Starr. 43rd in points is Dawson Cram. 44th in points is Blake Leviathan. 45th in points is Preston Pardis. 46th in points is Carson Ware. 47th in points is Will Rogers. 48th in points is Brad Perez. 49th in points is Gray Galding. And 50th in points is Alex Gunetti. 51st in points is Natalie Decker. 52nd in points is Glenn Reen. 53rd in points is CJ McLaughlin. 54th in points is Logan Bearden. 55th in points is Cletus McFarland. 56th in points is Derek White. 57th in points is Austin J. Hill. 58th in points is Sage Karam. 59th in points is Matt Wilson. And 60th in points is Baltavar Leguizamon. And here's a fun comparison I cooked up. On the left is the points after race 5. In the middle is the points after race 10. And on the right is the points after race 15. Justin Allgaier is still your points leader after all this time. Second place has been a toss-up between Jesse Love or Sheldon Creed. Corey Day has had a big improvement. He was 7th in points by race 5. He is now 3rd in points by race 15. Sheldon Creed, who is 2nd in points, has dropped to 4th place. Brandon Jones is still 5th in points after race 10 and 15. Sammy Smith is falling back. He was 6th in points to start the year. Now he's down to 7th in points. Parker Retzlaff is back in the top 10 in points after falling out of it after race 10. William Sawalich hangs on to 10th in points after race 10 and 15. Sam Mayer has fallen out of the top 10 in points, as did Rajah Caruth. After 38 hours of waiting, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series finally gets underway. And the race was one of the most pathetic excuses of racing I've ever seen in my life. Well, what's wrong with it? Well, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here. Of the 110 laps completed, 53 were under caution. 53. Almost half this race was spent behind the pace car. Wow. That comes out to 11 cautions. 9 if you don't count the stage cautions. What's going on here? I counted up every green flag run in this race, and the average length of a green flag run today was 4 laps. What? Yeah, 4 laps average green flag run today. The longest wasn't even 10 laps. What are we doing? What the hell are we doing? Anyway, Let's get back to the topic at hand, which was the race itself. Corey Day leads the field to green, but he'll lose the lead within 2 laps to Caden Honeycutt. Our first caution comes out on lap 7 when SVG spins out in turn 2. On the restart, Lane Riggs will lose the lead to Christian Eckes after Christian gets Lane loose. Our next caution comes out on lap 21 when Ty Majeski is slow on the racetrack. It's later revealed that he has a fuel pressure issue. This sets up a 2-lap sprint to the end of stage 1, which Christian Eckes will win. Our next caution comes out towards the start of stage 2 when Luke Baldwin blows up. On the ensuing restart, Lane Riggs will take the lead back from Christian Eckes. Then, the next caution comes out. Corey Day, driving Kyle Busch's car, gets loose on the backstretch, almost flips over, and smacks the inside wall. When he comes back onto the track, he takes out Mini Tyrell, who had nowhere to go. Ouch. Lane Riggs will hold on to the lead and pick up the Stage 2 victory. Unfortunately, for the second time this year, NASCAR's adverse conditions rule comes into play. And who are we kidding here? Once again, the television is God and dictates that the Truck Series must end. The CW demanded the Truck Series end the race early in Atlanta, and now Fox themselves says the Truck Series must end early to not interfere with the Indy 500. Well, gee, Fox, maybe I don't watch IndyCar. Maybe I want to see the truck race. I don't know. On the ensuing restart, we finally have a long green flag run. Unfortunately, the fun times don't last long, because on lap 68, Spencer Boyd goes for a spin in turn 3. Really? Really? Unbelievable. Our next caution comes out 9 laps later when Honeyman gets loose in turn 2 and hits the inside wall. Really? You know, at this point, the fucking TV clause is a mercy kill. Because there's no way in God's green earth the Truck Series should be this bad. What's going on? Tyler Ankrum attempts to play a strategy game and stays out when everyone else comes into the pits. Unfortunately, on the restart, he loses track position and falls back to 5th place. Lane Riggs gets the lead back. Oh, and we're not done yet. We have 2 cautions to end this godforsaken race. Chris Wright gets loose and collects Brendan Queen on the front stretch. And finally, on lap 106, Chandler Smith brings this godforsaken race to an end when he gets loose battling Connor Zillage for position. Lane Riggs is declared the winner when the quote-unquote adverse conditions clock is called. Better tune in to Fox 11, folks, and watch the Indianapolis 500, which, admittedly, the Indy 500 was pretty good, but you shouldn't be forcing folks to watch it by making the Truck Series race end. Oh my God. And it's a real shame it had to end or run this way, because Fox brought in the gentleman who does the Arca Menard Series broadcast to do the Truck Series this week, and he did a fantastic job. Someone should make him the full-time truck commentator. He is really good. I hope that the Truck Series doesn't have another race like this ever again. This was embarrassing. Here are your point standings after race 10 of the Truck Series season. Your points leader is Caden Honeycutt. Second in points is Lane Riggs. Third in points is Christian Eckes. Fourth in points is Giovanni Ruggiero. Fifth in points is Chandler Smith. Sixth in points is Ben Rhodes. Seventh in points is Ty Majeski. Eighth in points is Jake Garcia. Ninth in points is Daniel Hemrick. And 10th in points is Tyler Ankrum. 11th in points is Stuart Friesen. 12th in points is Justin Haley. 13th in points is Corey Heim. 14th in points is Brendan Queen Butterbean. 15th in points is Tanner Gray. 16th in points is Grant Infinger. 17th in points is Andres Perez. 18th in points is Dawson Sutton. 19th in points is Minnie Tyrell. And 20th in points is Corey LaJoy. 21st in points is Cole Butcher. 22nd in points is Chris Wright. 23rd in points is Frankie Muniz. 24th in points is Spencer Boyd. 25th in points is Connor Mozak. 26th in points is Landon Lewis. 27th in points is Tyler Reif. 28th in points is Timmy Hill. 29th in points is Daniel Dye. And 30th in points is Josh Reum. 31st in points is Adam Andretti. 32nd in points is Connor Jones. 33rd in points is Clayton Green. 34th in points is Travis Pastrana. 35th in points is Caleb Costner. 36th in points is Nick Litz. 37th in points is Tony Breidinger. 38th in points is Parker Eatman. 39th in points is Colin Braun. And 40th in points is James Hinchcliffe. 41st in points is Luke Baldwin. 42nd in points is Ben Meyer. 43rd in points is Parker Kligerman. 44th in points is Nathan Nicholson. 45th in points is Clay Greenfield. 46th in points is Jackson Lee. 47th in points is Dario Franchitti. 48th in points is Connor Hall. 49th in points is Carter Fartuk. And 50th in points is Carson Ferguson. 51st in points is Stephen Malazzi. 52nd in points is Michael Christopher Jr. 53rd in points is Leyland Honeyman. 54th in points is Justin Carroll. 55th in points is Tyler Tomasi. 56th in points is Clint Boyer. 57th in points is Jason Kitzmiller. 58th in points is Jason M. White. 59th in points is Wesley Slimp. And 60th in points is Natalie Decker. 61st in points is Corey Roper. 62nd in points is Derek White. 63rd in points is Tony Stewart, and 64th in points is Destiny Spurlock. And here's a side-by-side comparison. On your left is the points after race 5, and on your right is the points after race 10. After 10 races, Caden Honeycutt is your points leader, with Lane Riggs second in points. Compare that to race 5, where they were second and third in points respectively. Chandler Smith was 4th in points after race 5. He is 5th in points after race 10. Gio Ruggiero was 6th in points after race 5, jumped up to 4th in points after race 10. For the most part, the rest of the point standings had drivers shuffle around. Justin Haley was top 10 after race 5. He is outside the top 10 after race 10. Tyler Ankrum takes over. Daniel Hemrick jumps up to the top 10 after race 10. He is nowhere there after race 5. Stuart Friesen was in the top 5 in points after race 5. He's not there after race 10. Force Sport only had 2 of their trucks in the top 10 in points after race 5, Ben Rhodes and Ty Majeski. Well, they can now add Jake Garcia to that list after race 10. It's now time to put a bookend on NASCAR's Memorial Day weekend with the Coca Cola 600, the longest race of the year. 400 laps, 600 miles, 4 stages. This weekend is the first Cup Series race since Kyle Busch passed away, and his absence is truly felt here. His car has been renumbered to number 33. Richard Childress announced that the 8 will not be returning to the track. He'll hang on to it for Braxton Busch when he is ready to race. The entire Busch family is here. Samantha Busch, her 2 children, Kurt Busch, their parents. Steve O'Donnell holds a ceremony on the front stretch where Kyle Busch's number is painted onto the grass. Kurt Busch leaves 8 flowers for Kyle, and it's a beautiful sight to see. I have no words. Here are some headlines for today's race. 2 open cars will be joining the 36 chartered cars in today's field. Catherine Legg in the 78 and Timmy Hill in the 66. Catherine was actually the biggest headline going into this weekend before Kyle Busch passed away, because she was going to attempt to do the Indy 500 and the Coke 600 double. Unfortunately, her Indy 500 ended early on lap 17 when she crashed out. Oops. During practice, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was the fastest car. Austin Hill was 28th fastest, Catherine Legg was 38th fastest, and the defending winner Ross Chastain was 17th fastest. Qualifying was rained out, and as a result, Tyler Reddick is your pole sitter. Tyler Reddick needs to take Mother Nature out for a drink, because she's given him a lot of poles this year. Amazon Prime will have a silent lap 8 for Kyle Busch. In addition, on lap 200 will be NASCAR's newest tradition, where they bring the cars on the pit road for a moment of silence for the fallen men and women of the U.S. military. During the pace laps, the field takes a missing man formation for Kyle Busch. At the start of the race, Tyler Reddick is your leader. He'll go on to lead the first 40 laps. What's impressive to me is that Shane Van Gisbergen and Austin Dillon are running in the top 10, and legitimately in the top 10, which is crazy, especially for SVG, who is a road course ringer. Tyler Reddick and Ty Gibbs maintain a big lead over the rest of the pack. Our first caution comes out on lap 35 when Josh Berry goes for a spin. Thankfully, there is no damage. During pit stops, Ryan Blaney's pit road struggles continue as he loses 4 spots. Carson Hocevar also suffers from a slow pit stop. On the restart, Chase Briscoe will challenge Tyler Reddick for the lead. He even leads a lap at one point, but loses it to Tyler Reddick the very next lap. Daniel Suarez makes an unscheduled pit stop on lap 48. He'll lose a lap. Thankfully, a knight in shining armor comes to his rescue. His name is Austin Cindric. On lap 53, Austin Cindric goes for a spin in turn 2 and collects Connor Zellage and William Byron. Oof. Daniel Suarez gets his lap back. Ross Chastain stays out under caution while the leaders come into pit. Incredibly, Zane Smith has a fast pit stop and he becomes your leader on the restart. And he goes out to a big lead. And again, he earned it. No one gave it to him. A front row motorsports car is leading the Coca Cola 600. That's incredible. Bubba Wallace, who had an emotional interview during Amazon Prime's pre-race show, unfortunately gets into trouble as he hits the wall on the restart after contact with William Byron. Bubba will never recover after this damage. Tyler Reddick finds himself in second place on lap 67 with Kyle Larson right behind him. When it comes to the Coke 600, no driver has had worse luck than Chase Elliott. And unfortunately today, that continues, as on lap 90, Chase goes for a spin and hits the inside wall. Ouch. Once again, Ross Chastain stays out while the leaders come in the pit. Zane Smith's impressive run comes to an end as he has a speeding penalty. Ouch. Michael McDowell is your leader, but he'll lose the lead to Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson will go on to win Stage 1. Stage 2 goes on to be caution-free, believe it or not. Kyle Larson is your leader, with Chase Briscoe and Denny Hamlin chasing him down. Chase eventually catches Kyle on lap 111 and takes the lead. Josh Berry rebounds from his caution earlier today into the top 20. On lap 127, Brad Keselowski reports his cool suit is malfunctioning. What's kind of funny is that back in 2011, another RFK driver had a cooling problem. Greg Biffle's AC for his helmet was malfunctioning. And infamously, Greg Biffle had a meltdown on the radio, which was broadcasted on Showtime's NASCAR program back in the day. Denny Hamlin kicks the lead from Chase Briscoe on lap 144, which is around the same time that green flag pit stops begin. Carson Hocevar's pit road struggles continue, as he now has a loose wheel on pit road. When everything cycles back out, Joe Gibbs Racing is running 1, 2, 3 with Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe, and Ty Gibbs respectively. Christopher Bell is slowly catching up towards the top 10 at this time. Alex Bowman had to start way in the back today, and despite him climbing up to 20th place, he reports having transaxle problems during Stage 2. He'll fall back to the top 40. Towards the end of Stage 2, it's reported that the right front tires on these cars are starting to cord up, which is something they need to keep an eye on as this race continues. Denny Hamlin will go on to win Stage 2. After the halftime break, we got a problem, as there's now reports of rain coming to the racetrack. Earlier today, it was reported that rain wouldn't come till 1 o'clock in the morning. But now it looks like the rain's going to come at 11. As we've learned from the Indy 500 a couple years ago, if it rains in Indy, it's going to rain in Charlotte. And as such, earlier today, at the Indianapolis 500, there was a rain delay. So now, all the drivers are going to be racing very aggressively, because they know it's not if, it's when the rain comes. They want to be in a good position just in case the race gets canceled. We are past halfway at this point. Keep that in mind. When the race resumes, Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe are your leaders. Toyota has been the dominant OEM all race long, and this continues in Stage 3. Our first caution for the second half of this race happens on lap 210 when Catherine Legg loses a right front wheel. You picked a fine time to leave me, loose wheel. Catherine has not had a good Coke 600. She's been running in the back of the pack multiple laps down. On the bright side, she has completed more laps in the Coke 600 than the Indy 500. Tyler Reddick makes the first aggressive move, going 3 wide for the lead and taking it on lap 218. A surprise battle takes place on lap 220 when Ricky Stenhouse Jr. battles Chris Buescher for 6th place. Stenhouse running top 10? Yeah, I didn't believe it myself. Towards the end of Stage 3, it's an all Joe Gibbs Racing show, with Chase Briscoe, Ty Gibbs, and Denny Hamlin all jockeying for the lead. During all this, Christopher Bell finally breaks through to the lead, and he'll go on to win Stage 3. Before the final stage even begins, Timmy Hill comes on the pit road, and his car is on fire. For whatever reason, going back to the first year of the next-gen car, the Fords cannot get rubber out of the fender wells. And this happened to Timmy Hill. Oof. When the race resumes, Christopher Bell is your leader. Ty Gibbs will take the lead from him. SVG finds himself in 5th place. He's been having a strong Coke 600, running top 10 all day long. For the first time since stage 1, we have a caution for an on-track incident when Ricky Stenhouse Jr. rear ends Ross Chastain and sends him spinning to the inside wall. Ouch. During pit stops, SVG and Ty Gibbs stay out. Everyone that pits surprisingly takes 2 tires. On the restart, Ty Gibbs falls back to 5th place. His worn-out tires can't handle the fresh rubber of the pack behind him. However, SVG finds himself in the lead. He doesn't hold it for long, however, as on lap 330, Chase Briscoe dumps Chris Buescher. Now here's where it gets interesting. Like a pair of WWE tag team wrestlers, Chris Buescher hits Ryan Preece, who then takes out Chase Briscoe. Karma. On a restart, SVG is your leader, but he'll lose it quickly to Christopher Bell. Zane Smith finally recovers from his speeding penalty back in stage 1, as he's now in 6th place in the closing laps. On lap 353, we have reports of lightning in the area. Ka-chow. And as such, teams are prepared to come on the pit road and wait 30 minutes. But that's not what happens. Apparently, there is a new guideline that says if the lightning moves away from the facility, you don't have to wait 30 minutes, which... okay, sure. So, teams are confused, some complain, but it ultimately works out. Everyone comes in the pit during this. Daniel Suarez takes 2 tires, while most others take 4 tires. When the race resumes, Kyle Larson gives Daniel a massive shove and shoots him off to the lead. Christopher Bell and Denny Hamlin battle side by side for 2nd place. Then the rain comes out on lap 362. After putting around the racetrack for a little bit, the green flag goes back out. Once again, Kyle Larson shoves Daniel out to the lead. Christopher Bell and Denny Hamlin, again, battle for 2nd instead of taking the lead. The rain comes out once again on lap 373. And it comes down hard. Like, lose the track hard. Oh, it's bad. NASCAR brings the cars down the pit road, and the race is declared official. Daniel Suarez wins the Coca Cola 600. The 3rd win of his Cup Series career, his first win with Spire Motorsports, and his first crown jewel win. Daniel Suarez is one of many drivers in NASCAR today who grows through the ranks with Kyle Busch Motorsports. Here's your top 10 after Daniel Suarez. In 2nd place is 2024 Coke 600 winner Christopher Bell. In 3rd place is 2022 Coke 600 winner Denny Hamlin. In 4th place is Tyler Reddick. In 5th place is 2021 Coke 600 winner Kyle Larson. In 6th place is Ty Gibbs. In 7th place is 2023 Coke 600 winner Ryan Blaney. In 8th place is Joey Logano. In 9th place is William Byron. And rounding up the top 10 is Zane Smith. Giving this race a rating is going to be a little tricky because this race is technically incomplete. However, from what I saw out there, I think this race deserves a solid B+, maybe an A-. The next-gen car has really elevated Charlotte Motor Speedway. I loved what I saw out there. So, where are we off to this weekend? Well, let's take a look, and oh boy, better pack your cowboy hat and your boots because we're headed to Music City. That's right, Nashville Super Speedway. We have 3 races. The Truck Series, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and the Cup Series. As this weekend comes to a close, I can't help but think back to Kyle Busch's interview that he had at Dover after what ended up being his final NASCAR victory. When asked about why winning these races never get old, Kyle Busch simply said, "Because you never know when the last one is." And I hope that for the rest of 2026 and beyond, every driver celebrates like it's their last. Because you just never know. Rest in peace, Kyle. We're going to miss you.